Hello and welcome back to the Weird and Proud podcast. It's Sam and
James.
James. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Hope you had a great week. It's March. We made it.
I need some kudos for finishing it the right way.
James, he did it. Yay, James. Yay, Candy Mountain.
I didn't I didn't get a
Candy
treat.
Mountain,
Not doing it
Charlie.
again. Going back to the old way. That did not feel
Do you
comfortable.
want a treat?
That did not feel
Do you
comfortable.
want a little treat with a little backpack? Candy Mountain, Charlie. That's a niche joke, a niche thing. Only actually, most of you I feel like are millennials. The millennials will know what that is. It's an old YouTube video, and we had just done a whole YouTube dive the other night, and now there are certain videos that now I can't get out of my head.
I if you haven't seen it, go. What do they have to just
Candy
look up? Candy
Mountain.
Mountain Charlie. That's if you type that in, you'll find it.
And like you
is
go back to watch it, like
hilarious.
it's not. It's like one of those things where it's just so dumb, and like that, it just shows how much of like millennial humor came from that type of dumb humor. Same with the old Greg. I'm old Greg. Like I can't stop.
There was a whole nighttime thing that you know about, but I wonder if that was more at when I was in my 20s. Because we didn't have like the YouTubes as prevalent as they are now.
Right.
What we had was Adult Swim.
Oh, that was your
equivalence to that would be a show called Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I know we've talked about it a long time ago.
Watched a couple
I know
episodes
you've seen it.
Yeah.
Shake and Frye, and I loved Aqua Teen
like
Hunger
some
Force.
Weird,
just the
stupid,
dumbest, weird made up stuff, but it's so good.
But it's so funny. Anyways, so we have a great show for you per usual. We've got, I've kind of been playing around with some of these concepts, and I love the feedback, and I love also some of the ideas that you guys have been giving me. So thank you. Make sure, to keep commenting below. Let us know what you like and what you don't like, which I know people are more than happy to tell us what they don't like. But we've got a great show, and we have a little bit of a deep dive on a weird subject that a lot of the kids on TikTok, I've seen the internet, this making its round on the internet. Also, like another prevalent weird story that I've been seeing everywhere too. And then I was gonna ask you, James, you have like a weird fact for us, or another, because people were loving your CIA observation. So James also, and we've been trying to figure out like how to have James have his own little segment, and whether or not it's just like, I feel like it would be fun if like you just on your own find something weird, whether it's like a weird observation, weird fact, or like a weird news, whatever it is that you can share with the class.
Oh, mission accomplished today.
Yeah?
Oh, you're going to love it. You want some teasers for it? I'm not ready to unveil it.
It was getting a little, just because like sometimes like you are such a nerd.
I have to pull myself back.
Yeah, because you'll be like, there was this,
Well, I love yes, my brain goes on the tangents, and I try to explain the whole story.
Yeah.
But it's going to be long-winded. Today's, I practiced being shorter.
Good.
Because it's good for the listeners.
It is good for the listeners. So
and
thank you, James, for thinking about the listeners. That's what really matters.
I don't really care. Like you get to listen to it no matter what.
Exactly.
I'll give you the full version later.
This is
whether
my life.
you
my
want
life
it or
is
not.
Listening to
whether you want it or
your
not.
rants for hours. Couple of housekeeping things before we get in. First, I just want to say that we have some fun travel coming up. I actually was just getting off. We are doing a long weekend in Chicago.
Wait, do we have travel announcement music?
Travel announcement music? I don't know. I got to think about that. It'll be like some sort of like tour announcement.
Yeah.
So it's not like an official tour that I do. Like I kind of.
But I was thinking a fun little ditty in the background.
A little ditty?
Yeah.
James also, as many of you guys know, has a real job. So like we can't really, and we have like so many animals. We can't just like.
We don't get to like other people pick up and go on a whim.
Yeah, just like people like go for like a month straight or even more. People are just gone and just go from town to town. Like, unfortunately, I kind of have to space some stuff out. So, but on the books, just keep your eyes and ears peeled. We're doing a long weekend in Chicago at the end of May.
Yay!
So we're gonna do
Chicago,
maybe
Midwest.
Planning on hitting some other Midwest cities.
Oh, we gotta go back to Iowa.
I know, I loved Iowa.
We gotta go back to Iowa.
Iowa's like so my people. But if there are any other Midwest cities you want to see us at that we haven't been to before, maybe come again. What?
I'll call Minneapolis.
I know we got to go to Minneapolis.
I'll call Minneapolis.
Call them. Call Minneapolis.
Yeah.
What if you just like called Minneapolis?
No,
and, like,
I'll give
got
them a ring.
Minneapolis on the phone. You know the mayor?
Exactly. Well, who's the mayor of Minneapolis? Not sure right now.
Okay. Well, you work on that. We also, I don't even know if I've told you this yet, but I've just booked a show at the end of April in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
You did not tell me that.
Yes.
But I'm glad to hear about it.
We haven't been to Florida and done a show in Florida. Actually, I don't think ever. So Fort Lauderdale, I think it's April 27th. That's going to kind of like kick off the travel list. Because we literally, and then we also, this is not show related, but we're going to Spain.
True.
Again in May too. So we're going to be traveling a lot for like April, May, June. I kind of like doing that. And then we can, just be a good kickoff to spring. Now that we've had a couple months, we also like, of course, have had Peach. Having a puppy at home isn't really the best for traveling. So we've been kind of chilling for January, February, March, really. And then we'll get on the road and get to see a lot of you guys in person, which is really the best thing ever.
Really the best.
It really is the best. So let us know what other. We're also working on a show in LA. And I'm just trying to think of like other places we really haven't been. So comment below where should we come? Obviously, maybe do another show in New York City, which is obviously closest to us. So I feel like I'm there a lot, but any other cities, maybe go back to Maine. I definitely want to plan another Maine show.
I'll put Denver in the mix.
I would, it's so funny. I was just thinking about how we have not been. Well, I haven't been in forever, but I don't know. I don't think we've ever been together to Colorado.
I don't think we have. But
Colorado,
you were giving off Denver vibes, so I'm like, I'm going to throw it out there.
I like honestly, that was on my list.
Yeah.
Denver's on my list because that's another city
I have family owned Denver.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of weirdos out there. So
yeah, that's weird too.
Let us know. Comment below, and we will obviously let you know once the dates are announced and all that, tickets for sale, all that good stuff. But let's get into it because we have some weird stuff to talk about per usual. I'm going to give the table of contents. I think people like a table of contents.
I think we need to have a table.
It's a table of contents. No, it's a table of what? Of contents. I feel like I'm going to try and like.
That's a good. I like that's kind of a like
table,
80s jazz.
What?
Yeah.
Of contents. I don't know. I'm just playing around. I don't know. I have a cold. My voice is raspy. I don't know. But we have the first big weird subject segment. I'm trying to decide like what word to use. Because a segment. Okay, a segment. My first weird segment, weird news that's been coming up a lot is Antarctica.
Go.
Okay. So this has been really popular. Again, this is the one that everyone talks about on the internet. I've seen a lot of it on TikTok. And we're going to talk about some of the biggest conspiracy theories revolving Antarctica.
So we're going to talk about how important it is for everyone to know that this is the third year in a row that the sea ice in Antarctica has been at a record low. That's what we're talking about?
Yeah, right near the aliens. Well, the aliens and the Nazis probably have something to do with that.
There's some really cool underwater volcanoes around Antarctica too.
Yeah, and there's also some aliens.
Oh,
that's where the Nazis
about.
are.
Oh, I thought we were discussing real things. Never mind.
And some of these are going to drive James crazy, which is like something that I, really just like creams my Twinkie. There's nothing like driving James crazy with all my conspiracies.
Well, guess what? Already there.
Good job. His Twinkie creamed. Check. Then we're also going to be discussing really quickly. This was also a big news story that I haven't talked with you directly on, but I've been seeing it everywhere. The whole Willy Wonka Fire
you
Fest.
have not brought this up at all.
Okay, so
I'm ready to learn about this.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a story that I feel like everyone's talking about. But if you haven't and want to be up on the weird news, we're gonna talk a little bit about that too. And I was thinking, then after that, we'll do your weird, like Jane's weird corner.
You're gonna love mine because it does involve kind of a whole different dimension.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Little teaser.
So then we'll have Jane's weird corner. And then again, nothing really weird watch this week. I was, I'm not like forcing it if like I can't find anything to like recommend to you guys, other than the fact that we did watch a really good movie last night. That wasn't necessarily weird, but we found it on Netflix from 2020, Postcard Killings, it's called.
It was good.
And it was a solid, good true crime suspense. It was giving Taken vibes.
You can figure out kind of what's going to happen, but it's a nicely paced show.
Yeah.
There's enough little twists in it to keep you going.
Yeah, so if you want like a nice little,
relaxing murder show?
Relaxing murder. I was going to say, is it true crime? I don't know if it's technically true crime.
Not
I guess
true
it is.
crime. Well,
because it's not a true story. Is
what
it?
the heck?
No.
Now you got me.
Like, what would that be called?
I would think
crime?
True crime has to be based on something true.
True. So maybe like a suspense crime. Maybe it's just crime movie.
It's definitely crime.
Yeah. Other than that, I've just been obsessed with Love is Blind, and that's already weird in itself. There's not much to talk. That's a whole other like hour-long podcast. So without further ado, and then of course we have weird secrets, obviously. Some great weird secrets. Some really I just crack up listening to all your voicemails. Obviously, I'm the one who goes through them all. And you guys are just funny and silly gooses. And I just love you so much. You guys just all crack me up. I'm just cracking up, giggling at all the voicemails. So,
have we concluded the table of contents?
The table of contents has been concluded. And with that, we are now going to move on to our first weird segment, weird news, kind of weird news, but our weird topic. I guess I should call it like a weird topic.
I think that's the topic. Yeah.
Topic.
Good
and that
job.
is Antarctica.
Good job.
So thank you, James. A+. Antarctica is really one of these places that like I really have never thought about that much in depth, I should say. And it has gotten a lot of traction lately online. Number one, because there is a lot of TikTokers, content creator, whatever, people who are taking the trip down there and there's like a cruise line kind of that basically has been taking trips to Antarctica. So a lot of those videos go viral, especially, the Drake's Passage. If you're on TikTok, the yo ho, hail then beggars, jealous shall we die.
They sing an off-key pirate song?
Yeah, that's like the audio.
Got it.
That plays while people are going through the Drake's Passage. And if you're on TikTok and you know. But there's a lot of, these videos always go viral of people going through the Antarctica. Have you heard of Drake's Passage, by the way? Do you know what that is?
I have a feeling that it's somewhere between Patagonia and Antarctica where the sea really picks up. It's the roughest sea in the world.
Yeah, it's literally the roughest sea in the
world. In
other
words, yes.
And a lot of, it's insane where, I could never do it, ever. Go on a cruise to Antarctica. It's just, how I get seasick.
Yeah, that would be
100-foot swells.
Yeah.
To the point where like you can't go out on the balcony. People just literally just lay down and just puke for like 3 days straight. Because it's like it
sounds like a ayahuasca ceremony.
Except you get like nothing. Well, I guess what you get out of it is you get to go to Antarctica. And so that's been going viral. And then also one of the big things that's been going viral is there are always like new pictures or like people do like Google Earth image, all these things that people see. It's like, I don't know how people like have the time to just watch Google Earth of like Antarctica 24/7. But
that sounds fascinating, actually. Yeah. That sounds extremely fascinating.
Well, and there was someone who was going through and kind of picking out like parts of Antarctica that are really hard to explain. And this video had gone viral. First of like staircases. And there are these staircases that like led to nowhere in the middle of Antarctica. So that's what kind of started this. And now there's all these conspiracy theories. And so I made a list of all of the top conspiracy theories that basically people have been posting about, or just like, ongoing conspiracy theories about what's going on in Antarctica.
Even though I haven't seen this, do I get to guess some of them?
Sure. Yeah. What is your guess?
Well, I know the alien one. You already gave that one, which of course is out there.
I'm
going to go with Nazi camp.
Yep. That's a big one.
That's a big one. That's an actual probable fact.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with
else?
They don't talk about the super volcano down there, do they?
No, but that's a thing.
The volcanoes,
and that's known.
Yeah.
Like that's more not really a conspiracy. Like there are volcanoes there.
Same with lakes. Talking about a deadly virus that could wipe out the world?
Yes.
In the yep. Okay.
Yep.
Um,
There's a lot. There's a lot around that because there are just like so many bacteria that grow and that can only grow
am
in
I
these type of
spoiling this segment?
temperatures. Not really, but you're like, there's some
I'm
that
ballpark
there's
on.
no way.
Yeah, there's some
And
that I'm
there's
way
obviously
off.
more details on them. So the first one I am going to tell
Let's go
you.
through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go through it. The first one, this one is one that you're going to lose your mind over. And I already am like laughing about it. So there is one conspiracy theory that Antarctica is really a huge ice wall. And it's almost like the idea that we're in like uh, what's that movie with Jim Carrey and we're all
Truman Show.
Truman Show, where we're all like trapped on Earth by the Antarctica ice wall. So Antarctica isn't a continent, it's actually like a border. So anyone that tries to go south, like you'll just reach this ice wall, and that's how they prove that the world is flat.
If I were to describe my feelings right now, I wish we had one of those little sound buttons and I could push like the tea kettle and then
Yeah, your
the steam
ears
would
just
come out of my ears. Yeah. Yeah. That's
and
an ear steamer.
there are apparently, some videos of some people trying to like go over the ice wall and like they just can't. There's like no ending to the ice wall. And based off this theory, too, like some people, honestly, James,
I know.
100%
And
believe
I
this.
respect all of them. I just don't trust or believe them.
Trust nothing that comes out of their
No.
mouth. So this it's basically like keeping us all in, and beyond the ice wall are other continents and other life forms,
Yeah.
like
It's on the other
aliens.
side of the world. There's a whole bunch of them.
And this also goes into the idea about like aliens and how, of course, aliens are coming here from other planets. But because the travel would take so long, there's the idea that among like past the ice wall, there are continents that would like where the aliens live. And they've been able to figure out how to come over the ice wall. And that's how we've been seeing them.
So, what is the said technology behind said ice wall that is keeping us from going over it?
There's no fly zone. So I'll get into it too, because they all kind of wrap together and they all kind of point back to some of the same evidence,
By evidence, do you mean made up crap?
Made up crap.
Got it. Let's just be careful with that word
just
evidence.
Know that these are things that people actually believe.
Oh, okay? I'm fine with it. I've told you, I am. People get to have
You're
creativity, imagination that exists.
Yeah, it just shows that people are creative.
But then there's also a side of reality versus not reality.
Right. So this is one that's a little bit more like, okay, maybe this could be, is the Antarctica is like a lost civilization.
True.
And they almost think that Atlantis was based on Antarctica.
Heard that theory in Atlantis.
Yes.
So also when do they talk about Pangene in there?
That I'm literally about to talk about
we'll
that
get
right
the
now.
Pangene.
And you can tell me how true this is.
Noticed,
James can be the fact checker.
Noticed on the Pangene one, that was going to be the next one I said, but I wanted you to go. So,
yeah.
Okay.
So it was actually like based off, they really started looking into this based off a map from the 15th century by this guy, Rice. And it showed Antarctica was like this green, lush, like there wasn't any ice. Like it was shown as like almost like a rainforest.
Kind of been proven it's mistaken as Greenland, but that's okay.
Right. I know. But
oh, sorry. Spoiler alert.
And there was this idea that due to like tectonic plates shifting.
True. Good use of tectonic plates.
Literally, like I am expanding my mind doing all this research. But where Antarctica is now is not where it was hundreds of years ago. It's
hundreds
thousands
of years ago.
Millions,
Wait, yeah, there we go.
Millions.
Now we're talking. This I can get behind.
And so it was a little bit more north. So that's why it could have nicer temperatures. It could have, like it said, the average temperatures were like 50, 60 degrees on this continent. And it did have a lot of mammals. And they have proven, because there are obviously a lot of researchers that are down there who have found, like in the ice.
Who are drilling, yep.
Who are drilling and finding that there was life, like things that just could not survive in the climate it is now.
Absolutely. Based on the correct idea of years, that is something I am behind.
Yeah. So there's this other idea too, that like these people that lived in, the Atlantis or, pre-Antarctica, whatever it is now, were like it was like a new technology and a like society that like we would dream about today. Like to the fact where like they were making up their own energy using pyramids. And apparently they have built pyramids and people have seen Google image, snapshots of pyramids that are still there in
Oh, I've heard this
Antarctica.
one before.
And they were like using these pyramids to create their own energy. And
Got
there's
it.
also rumors too, even with the Egyptian
That
pyramids,
they were
that they were being used to create
very
their own
much so.
energy. And it is really interesting too, because then I was starting to go down a whole other rabbit hole about pyramids, the Egyptian pyramids, which is like, I mean, that's a whole other weird subject to discuss one day. But like, how the fuck they built that? Like back then, even if it was like they had all, the quote unquote, they said there were all these slaves that helped. There's no way that human beings without the technology they have today would have been able to build the Egyptian pyramids.
I have to look up this guy's name. Keep going.
So just really fascinating stuff. But they've, there are even these images now that there are these pyramids that do exist in Antarctica, but they're just built so far under the snow. And there is a big portion of Antarctica too that's kind of like a forbidden zone. Like there's no like first of all, there'd be no way for like an average person to get there
No.
and like survive. And like there's no military activity. Like it's like a no-fly zone. And they really have never said why, other than like a normal human probably wouldn't be able to survive out there. Like how the fuck would you get there? But there's just like a lot of, which is where how I want to go next in the line of like what is going on in Antarctica. So, and there are also two apparently like screenshots of huge holes, like 100 feet long, and like stairways, like I was saying to you before, like stairways that people have seen, and it's like where are these going? Are like were these part of like a structure? And these go into the other conspiracy theories. Did you find it what you were looking
Yeah, I
for?
did.
What were you gonna say?
I was going to ask if there was a journalist they talked about named Graham Hancock.
Yes.
They brought him up?
I didn't know that name, but so here goes into some of the other conspiracy theories about what's going on. So at one point, and this is true, that in 1938, Hitler did send a team to Antarctica to claim it because whale oil was really important back then. It was really expensive, and they wanted to make a base so they could
True.
create and import whale oil. And then, of course, some people now say that Nazis and Germans still
They
have a
may
base
have
there,
underground bases.
have underground bases.
There's tunnels big enough to like put a plane
Huge
in.
tunnels. Yep.
There's also thought that a lot of the Nazi treasure that they pillaged could be down there.
Yeah. So, and it's just is one of those things where it's like, I don't like, what is the answer? Like, I don't know. Like, would we ever know? And like that Hitler's hiding down there, which, of course, I don't know if that's true. But, could there still be German bases down there? There was a treaty though that was signed in the 1940s.
Treaty of Versailles?
I don't know if it was a Treaty of Versailles, but it was just a treaty that is, that basically every country was going to make sure that Antarctica was neutral territory.
Okay.
No one could bring military there. There was no fly zones, and no one really owned Antarctica.
True.
Like it, it's kind of again like a neutral territory. But there is like this idea that there are these German bases down there. And I mean, obviously there's a lot of Americans there too, but it's more for like research, for scientific purposes. But there are also, which brings me to conspiracy theory number 4, is alien exploration. So not only obviously they think Nazis and Germans are doing research down there, but that Americans are, and we're all like, there's almost like all of these countries are kind of in on it. The most powerful people of the big countries, UK,
the Illuminati.
Got
it.
And they, again, like a lot of people take screenshots saying that they have seen alien spacecrafts, in the snow. And, again, there's this huge forbidden zone in Antarctica that they're like, what is actually going on down there? So those are kind of like the big 4 of like conspiracy theories of what's going on in Antarctica. And then again, of course, there's also, other stuff that we do know. Like there are huge volcanoes, there are underground lakes, there are lots of different bacteria and even like some like wildlife that just can't live anywhere else but Antarctica. But those are kind of like the big four.
That's amazing. You found a lot.
Yeah. What else were you going to say something else about another part of Antarctica? Is there anything else
No,
that you wanted to
I
say?
was going to go down the Graham Hancock. Graham Hancock, I'm pretty sure is
Yeah,
the
I
name.
forget like what he was. It something
Ancient.
with the maps?
All right. So if you do want a weird watch for the week, because I actually have watched this, uh, it's he's a investigative journalist,
Okay.
very smart guy,
Yeah.
backed by Joe Rogan. So of course it's true.
Of course.
But he actually has theories about exactly what you're talking about ancient civilizations that would be more like a utopia, right?
Right.
And because of where we were in the world or a higher power or something did come along, and then there was uh, the world was destroyed basically through
Yeah.
the ice age. This would have been
Yeah. Yeah.
pre-ice
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
age,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So that idea exists, and so I was looking him up because it's called Ancient Apocalypse. You would be all over that
I
based
love
on
an
this topic.
apocalypse.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's actually really well done.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on in Antarctica, or at least what we think is going on. What would your guess be? What would you think is going on in Antarctica, if you had to guess? All of the above, or like, what do you actually think is going on down there, Doctor
Occam's
James?
razor, simplest answer is usually the
Okay, well,
best.
what is the simplest
So
answer?
there's a lot of scientific research going on because
Of
that's
course,
where science is constantly trying to understand where we live and
right?
what might have happened earlier. Uh, uh, Pangea, or the one big continent, or when the tectonic plates were formally shifting, whether nothing is proven in stone, but Antarctica, the land mass that is under the ice, was somewhere else in the world, most likely,
Yep.
right? And it shifted down there. But and I don't know exactly what it is, but it shifted down at a different rate than the other ones. It actually did move faster. Like there was
Yes.
an odd entity to that when they were doing the
Yeah.
research. I don't
Yeah.
know a lot more about it than that, but I do know that part is true. Although I don't think it's hundreds or even thousands of years ago. We're talking about, yeah,
Yeah.
millions. But life forms were
Let's.
still on it.
Yeah.
Like there was probably plants. There's probably things that they can find carbon traces of when they're
Yep.
digging in the ice, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I know the Nazis were there. That's just everyone knows that's kind of a
Yeah,
World
like
War
that
II
is the thing.
history.
Like they
It's an
were
actual
there.
historical
It's
thing.
just
How
the
much
fact
were they
over
there,
how
right?
much were they, and if they left or not, and if they're still there, like doing research
And
on
then
weird shit.
the human mind is very creative when there's an unknown space and people are going to look for and find all kinds of different things. All the exact same stuff has been said to have been seen on the surface of the moon or the surface of Mars.
Yeah,
It's exactly the same, the exact same shapes, the exact same, which are all natural things that happen in nature, right?
yeah,
Sometimes things just happen that way, and they're going to be very similar to seeing something, right? It'd be like if you saw a dog that looked like Prue, you would think it's Prue right away for no reason, but because your brain thinks something is familiar, right? So
hmm
we're pattern recognition animals. That's what we do. We see things as a pattern, and it's like, oh, this must be that, and it's fun to talk about, and it's good clickbait, and yeah, there's a lot of good facts behind it.
You're so PC.
I think that's exciting, though.
Well,
I just find boring things exciting
you
sometimes.
do because you're a nerd, but I think it'll be interesting to see. You know, as technology does advance too, like it's crazy, like with Google Earth, like what people can see now too, and it's just interesting. It's a whole other too, like thinking about the pyramids, like really just also gets me going. Like, how are these pyramids built, James? Who built the pyramids? Who do you think?
The Egyptians.
Yeah, but did they? All the
Yes.
humans? I don't know. I don't know about
And
it.
they used slave labor, and they also there's theories behind how it was spaced out, but the beauty of it is it just shows how advanced their mathematics were and how advanced their astronomy, not astrology, astronomy was, right?
Sure, whatever.
They were able to align things in certain ways. It's absolutely
Yeah, like
mind-blowing.
how, like the pyramid, like the line, they're like 99.9% accurate of
Accurate,
like how
unbelievable.
do they do that?
So when there were no social media or TV or anything,
What?
you just sort of sat around and thought about stuff, and you
What?
had time to do things, and it's amazing
That's
what people can
crazy.
do.
No, 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 no,
No, no, no.
no,
It
no,
must
it's
be an ancient
aliens.
yes, exactly.
What do you guys think happened in Antarctica? What do you think happened in Antarctica? Comment below. What do you guys think is going on down there? Do they have aliens? Is this really just an ice wall and we're stuck here? Are there, you
Oh,
know,
the ice wall thing is the funniest of all of them to me.
also where they're like, is this where the Illuminati, like there also is, just random, like this is where they hold like underground safety if like the world is to end, like this is where all the high,
There's probably there. I mean, there's a spot
bunkers.
in Norway or Finland where they're storing basically every type of food bearing seed that they can in a uh, underground area.
Whoa.
Is it? Gosh, now I have to look up what country that is. Yeah, they're storing just in case there is some kind of like
Oh, great. That's reassuring.
Earth, like a
Ice
asteroid
Age.
comes in. Yep, and they're having these that are areas that people hopefully would be able to find, and there will be ways that you can start growing food again and ways to get water,
Okay,
stuff
if
like
the
that.
world, like if the like an asteroid hits or like a super
Super
volcano
volcano.
happens, just kill me.
It would.
Okay.
I
That's
won't.
like I just take me out.
You don't
Like
want to
I don't
go.
want
You
to I
don't
don't
want to
want to
go
serve,
through an
no, no,
apocalypse.
no, no.
You love those kinds of movies, though. I
Yeah,
think you
I
would thrive.
do, but like I need like my medications, like I need my contacts. Like
Well,
what would I do without my contacts? I need my daily
same thing. The rest
contacts.
of us. The same thing the rest of
What,
us
wear
would.
glasses in an apocalypse? I die
Maybe just not
immediately.
see as much. I will guide you through. We'll be
I
fine.
need my antidepressants. Think about that. Going off your antidepressants and there's a world apocalypse. Imagine I would just perish.
No, you'd be fine.
And like even just thinking about like Prue and like having to think about like something that happened to my animals,
See,
like just
you
kill
would get
me.
to take care of them. Like I would. I'll go
Yeah,
take
but
care of
like
all
it's
the
too
other
much
stuff.
responsibility.
But you just take care of the animals.
Just kill me, okay? Just kill me. All right. Now let's get into a little bit lighter. We're moving on. Transition to, this is a story that I feel like, again, if you're chronically online like I am, then you probably heard about this. This is the Willy Wonka Fire Fest
No idea what this
experience.
is.
Okay, so this was in Glasgow. They set up it was supposed to be this once in a lifetime totally, it's called Willy Wonka's Chocolate Experience. It was supposed to be this, like, it was in Scotland, Glasgow, Scotland, if you didn't know. I was trying to see what else. A journey filled with wondrous creations and enchanting surprises.
Can I just ask? It's called Firefest because it's the guy that did
No, no,
Firefest.
they call it Firefest
Oh, okay.
because that's how it ended up
Okay.
being out.
Sorry.
But no, it was called like the Willy Wonka experience. And it was $45 for tickets. And so families were like signing up. It was great marketing to make it look like it was just like this amazing walkthrough experience.
No,
Tons of
okay.
candy, along with like the movie had come out recently. Literally, they showed up and it was basically an abandoned warehouse you have to just go on, if you haven't seen pictures, just look up the Willy Wonka, if you just type in Willy Wonka event, it'll pop up. Like basically they would have like little posters just like taped to the walls. There
Oh my
was
God.
no candy there. There was apparently the instructions, like some people who got hired to work at this event have now come out and been like, yeah, they told me I was allowed to give each kid one single jelly bean and a quarter of a glass of lemonade, and that was it. And they like made it
Oh
seem it was like unlimited
my
candy.
God.
And even this guy, he was like, I got hired to be an Oompa Loompa. And he's like this tall, like skinny. He just looks nothing like. And he was like, I thought that was weird because, like, why would I be hired like as an Oompa Loompa?
He does not look like an Oompa Loompa.
No, not that, like, I mean, who does look like an Oompa Loompa? But like, literally, there would just be like bare walls, and then just like posters of like what it was to look like, like
What?
a Candyland
I
experience.
need to know more.
And they, like he even he got like a script of like what to say. And he was like, he basically got hired like 5 days before this event started. And he was like, I was given like a 15-page monologue that was basically AI generated. And he was like, it was complete gibberish. He was like, one of my favorite lines was, there's a man who lives here. His name is not known. So we call him Unknown. The Unknown is an evil chocolate maker and he lives in the walls. He's like, that's not even like the Willy Wonka like story.
Wow.
And it was just so bizarre that people were like calling the police. Literally,
Yes.
family called the police.
Good.
Kids were crying. It was like kids were freaking out because there's also just nothing to do. Like it literally was just an open warehouse.
And parents would have built these kids up and
built these kids up. Some traveled from far away. I
Oh,
mean,
I'm
$45
sure.
is not cheap too, to like supposedly have a once in a lifetime opportunity. And it was like just like there would be like some little like, what do they call those little lunch tables set up. And again, every kid was given a quarter of a glass of lemonade, and
Oh
there was nothing
my
to do.
God.
Yeah.
What happened to these people?
Well, people were freaking out. Obviously, the event group that put it on did refund everyone back.
Well, okay.
And there was 800 people that bought tickets.
They should get something more than just having to refund back. Like,
I know. Well, I was
there's
gonna
a
say for
certain
people who
level
had
of
to travel
negligence
or
there.
whatever. Yeah. And it was just a shit show. And it just is like, of course they came out, their formal statement, and it's funny, the name of the group was called the House of Illuminati. And they go, we are truly sorry for any upset and disappointment caused this weekend. Refunds will be issued and will continue to do so. This was an event gone wrong, and we do not have any events in the foreseeable future. But everyone is talking about it. There are like videos all over social media. If you just look it up, you'll find it. Like it's just, even like the actors that are there look like, that were hired to do it, are like, what? This is such a shit show.
The kids would have had more fun in Antarctica.
Literally. So that's kind of the weird news that all the kids are talking about. And with that, James, do you want to get into your what you want to share with the class
Is
today?
there a transition? Is there a James song?
Weird,
Can it be Neil Diamond themed?
James Weird Corner.
Not bad.
He is weird.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Okay. What do you got?
So in mine, remember. So
okay,
what I'd like to talk about is literally there's sometimes during the day where
make sure you're talking into the mic.
You might go into a whole new time warp dimension and you're not familiar with what that area is.
What?
Right. And I also want to talk about farts.
Okay, so you have two things?
No, it's the same.
You farting in a dimension.
It's a brain fart.
Okay.
So do you ever walk into another room and
every second of
have
my
those
life.
brain farts,
every
right?
second of every day.
Well, psychologists at Notre Dame think that what actually does trigger it is just walking through a doorway. It turns out that doors themselves are to blame for strange memory lapses. They're known as an event boundary. Maybe we'll use the idea of a black hole. What's around a black hole is called an event horizon.
Yep.
So literally every doorway in your house could be an event boundary that in the mind, your mind sees it as separating one set of thoughts and memories from the next.
Interesting.
It's almost like going through a black hole when you go into the next room and then forget that you're looking for your keys.
I do that all the time, and I just thought it was because I smoke too much weed that I just am like, oh, fuck, what did I come in here for?
It's nope, just that's one part of a brain fart.
That makes sense. Like you're walking into another room and then like you're just like in another state of mind.
And since we already talked about
dimension.
how much of a tangent I can go on, I'll keep my tangent short.
Sure.
There's also a type of learning
that's
called method of loci learning, or loci means location. I think it's Greek, maybe Latin. I think it's Greek. But in that, they tested students and they had them in a room that they had never been in before, study for a test, and then they gave them the test in the same room.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
You've heard about this one.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's kind of the same thing, that literally your brain, just because of a new environment, can totally be triggered in a different area.
Yeah.
And I suspect the more familiar the area, actually the bigger the jump. Like you wouldn't do it in a hotel room, or like if you have a suite where you can go from room to room, you're less likely because everything is new to you. But when you're in a
Right.
very
In, like, your own
familiar area,
house.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's more likely. That's my own speculation. I gotta look up
Wow.
more on
That would
that.
make sense. Like, yeah, that's why it happens a lot at home where you're, like, walking from one room to the other and you're like, "Wait, what the fuck did I come in
But,
here
like,
for?"
there's so much less there are less distractions and familiar things if you're at, like, a big like, we stayed at that big the Airbnb, right?
Yeah, yeah,
We had,
yeah.
like, a whole house floor of a house
Yeah.
to ourselves, but I think you're less likely to have that
Those moments.
forgetfulness,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Huh. Fascinating, James. Good
Brain
one. Good
farts.
one. Love it. Love it. And you
Wanna talk
kept it.
about farts and dimension travel.
Farts and there's nothing better than farts and dimension travel. All right. I think it's time for another oh wait. It's time for secret, 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 secrets. That's right. It's everyone's favorite time. It's time for us to listen to all of your weird secrets, weird stories, and
Time to let the weirdos do the talking.
it's time to let the weirdos do the talking. We have a bunch of great ones. Definitely from all facets of life, which again, like I kind of like I like to mix it up a little bit. And if you also want to call in and leave us a weird secret, you can call in too.
SpeakPipe.
That's speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. Speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. Obviously, it'll be in the description of this as well. It'll also be it's on the Instagram bio. You can copy paste it. And again, always anonymous. You can leave up to 1 minute and 30 seconds. It's so easy to do. I promise. Don't be scared. Just do it. All right, James. Are you ready for the first secret?
Prepared.
All right. Here we go.
Okay, secret time. When I was about like 21 to 22, I was in the car community and we used to go to meets every weekend and stuff. And I had like a big group of friends specifically from the car community, like guys and girls. And I was on the app Whisper, which I don't know if it's still a thing, but it's basically this app that gives you a random username and you post anonymously and you can say literally whatever you want. And I went on there when I was horny one time and I posted this thing and I said, like, if anyone wants to meet up or like send pics, like talk to me or whatever. And I started texting because it also had this messaging feature on that app. And I started messaging this guy back and forth and like we were talking, getting all kinky in text. And like I sent him pictures and videos masturbating and like of my boobs and he sent dick pics and stuff and then he finally sent back a full body picture and it was literally a guy that's not only in the car community but in the group of friends that I'm in that I thought was super attractive and like I feel like if he knew it was me because he never saw my face he like would not be interested. So I literally just like stopped replying and deleted the messages and deleted the app and have never told anybody about that until right now. And yeah, there's my story.
But like, what if you had told him?
Oh, no.
And there was a
I'm
love
going the
story?
opposite.
What?
You need to go back and reach out to that person.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, what if like you'd been like, hey, it's me. It's me.
I was agreeing with you just more aggressively.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
It's
yes.
like, go do it. Take action.
Yeah, life's too short, I can see how it would be weird. I never heard of the Whisper app. Have you? I was gonna ask you. No. Well, this must have been an app that was older. Like, obviously, it doesn't exist now. There were so many weird apps and like websites
There's
when
still
like
so
social
many
media
of
was
them,
still
yeah.
blowing up, and back in like the MySpace days. Um, there was this like it just like got my brain thinking about other random websites and stuff. There's a website where like you could go on and rate people. Like you could
Hot or Not?
Yes.
I remember
Hot or not.
hotornot.com.
And like that is there's shit like that that was so fucked up. So I don't know what the Whisper app is, but like I'm guessing the point was to be anonymous to some degree, but like what if, yeah, like he would been like, "Yeah, I really like you too." Maybe there's still a chance. Go back. Are you still friends with them
We
now?
might need a follow-up call. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like whatever happened. So like did you like him? Like why?
Are you both still single?
Yeah, like maybe you should just reach out and be like, "Hey,
What were
I feel like I need
your
to tell you something."
what were your invisible Antarctica walls that were keeping you from going over to the next
What was
step.
your ice wall?
Yeah. What was your ice wall?
But I think that's like kind of gorgeous. Like a kind of like it's like an old movie about, I'm trying to think there was like a movie. Ah, Hillary Duff was in it. You would never know the title, but like
Nope.
she's like texting with some guy, and they're both like it's like an anonymous text, and they're both like becoming friends like through text, and then they end up falling in love when they meet in person.
Oh my
Anyways,
God.
so yeah, like what if like did you ever get to see him? Like after
How did
that?
you
What
act
happened?
around him after that?
Right.
Like,
That would
did
be
your
hard to like
behavior
not act
change? Yeah.
different if there he was like in your group of friends. I think she said car community, like a car, like vroom vroom.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That was what I was going off of.
Yeah. But I kind of like love the idea that like
And you two
you
have
were
the
like,
same
hey, just so you know,
interests.
yeah, just so you know, like that was me. And he was like, oh my God, like I
And
didn't want to say anything, but like I really like you.
besides just the physical side, they were chatting as well,
Right.
which
They
is
had
important.
like a
Yeah.
good
Yet they already, yeah. We need more on
I
this.
think you need to reach out and get married. As, like, of course, if everyone's still, available. But I love that secret. That's kind of a gorgeous secret and maybe a love story that's just beginning. So let us know. Reach out. I dare you. I double dog dare you. Unless, like, I don't know if it was can't remember if she said how long ago it was, but why not? Like
Whenever the
YOLO.
Whisper app was a thing.
Whenever the Whisper app. I gotta look into that and see what that was. All right, James. Are you ready?
Prepared.
Secret. All right, here we go.
This is a story about crazy shit I found in my food at a restaurant. So I was in the Smoky Mountains and we went to this like down home southern cooking country food restaurant. Food was excellent. However, to start, they brought you a salad and cornbread soup. Let me tell you, the cornbread soup was amazing. The salad was great to start. And then I started diving in. It was like homemade ranch or whatever. Super tasty. I'm eating it. I bite on this hard thing in my freaking mouth. And I'm like, no way. I pull it out. You guys, it's literally a razor blade. It was like half an inch by 2 inches. Literally a piece of razor blade. Pulled the waiter aside and was like, yo, what is this? And she's like, oh my gosh, that's a blade from like what they chop the lettuce or like their veggies or something with. She literally said, this is a blade from something in the kitchen. They got it squared away. I was a great sport about it. They brought me a free meal and, comped us or whatever, but still, I fucking bit on this blade and yeah, it was insane. Craziest thing I ever saw in my food. How about you?
So I thought this was kind of like a great like prompt to like craziest thing you found in your food. And I think we've discussed this, you and I. But the craziest thing I've ever found in my food was a screwdriver. Did I tell you about
A
this?
screwdriver or a screw? All right.
A screw. An entire screwdriver.
Yeah, that's why I was
in
like,
my
let's be clear. Let's make it clear. I remember this story.
But it was like a big, like 2-inch
Yep.
screw. But I was like in college and it was like this is when I was in Maine at the time.
Yep.
And it was this new barbecue place that had just opened. And like me and my friends had just taken edibles before. So I was so just like out of my mind that I was like, I didn't even say anything. I didn't even tell the people that I was with because it literally like I felt, and I was like, am I like hallucinating that I just found this in my food? But I didn't even say anything. Like I should have said something. And like, of course, once I got into the car, I was like, I just have to tell you guys, like, I found this in the
I
food.
can't believe you didn't tell anyone, which was nice of you. I mean, in a way, it was
because
being too nice.
I literally was like, oh my God, this is gonna create such an awkward experience, and I was way too stoned to like say anything. I was like, part of me, I'm like, was it like, is this my fault? Yeah, I was like,
did I do this?
Is this my fault?
Did I
like,
bring this? Is this my screw?
Put this in here?
Is this my screw?
I was like, I don't know if maybe I did this. But of course, once we got to the car, all my friends were like, you idiot. Like we wouldn't have had to pay for any of that. Like you
that's
moron.
The other part.
And I ate the whole thing. I ate the rest of it. I just took it out.
I worked at a place that was basically farm to table. And
Mm.
this was something you had to be careful of, but it's the thing that happens. And somebody had a live caterpillar on the back of one of their pieces of lettuce.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in salads.
That's the risk from when you're fully organic, and try to do
Yep.
everything farm to table. But
Yep.
somebody did not wash or prep their area well enough. So
yeah,
yep.
that was. I remember being out too. One of our friends, Diana, she had ordered a salad at one of those, nice restaurant, and it had like a full, like grasshopper.
Yep.
And it was like still alive.
Yep. Yeah.
And then
at least they're fresh. That
I was
tells
gonna
me
say,
a good
it
thing.
shows it's fresh. Yeah, because if it was dead, you'd be like, oh.
No, I wouldn't even be afraid if that was like a Google review at a restaurant. I'd see that. I'd be like, I'd go
nice
there.
And fresh,
Yeah.
extra protein.
I'd go there.
And then I've had some oysters too that have had like little. Remember we went and had some oysters and there was like
crabs.
There was a little crab.
Yeah, they get a little crab
inside of the
fresh.
Oyster.
I love it.
So I was like, all right, well that just means it's fresh. But yeah, let us know what else. What's the craziest thing you found?
Great, and thank you for calling and like prompting for other people. What's crazy stuff you found in your food?
Crazy. I like that's like razor blade, like when it is something that's more solid, like that's what it is. Like if you swallowed that or if you did bite on that wrong, like you could break a tooth.
Yeah,
or,
I've heard
really
of people busting tooth in restaurants on a screw. Screws are kind of common because like in that in that salad area, there's a lot of shelves. Shelving has screws.
Right.
A cook isn't back there seeing if everything's tightened in.
Totally. Something fell out.
Something falls out. They're not going to notice it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. Anyways, that was a great secret. And yeah, make sure if you guys ever find something in your food, make sure you say something, unless you're like me. Okay, James, are you ready?
Prepared
for the next voicemail. Here we go.
Calling in to Speak Pipe, a sex story. I dated this hot ass guy, and I went to meet his parents at their cabin for the first time. And I'm not kidding you, this man was hot. So sexual tension was building all day. We had like an hour drive home from the cabin, and I guess we just could not resist ourselves and started messing around in the car to the point where we had to stop and pull off. And we actually parked in this like business parking lot or like the back of some random business in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee, and fucked on the hood of his back car. It was definitely a good memory. It was actually a really good fuck. And it was just awesome. Where else have people fucked? Craziest places we've all fucked. Come on, I know someone's got to beat this.
So I love this voicemail because I think we've talked in an earlier episode, we've kind of talked about this and this has been a good prompt, but I love the prompt of like the craziest place you've done it or like, a weird situation, like something was made out of like a weird, where you banged and something weird happened to you. Could have the car is good in a weird place. I feel like that's relatively safe. And I think we've talked about this before. I feel like the craziest place ever is in like I have done it. It is in like a bathroom of a Wendy's.
Yeah,
that was like in high school.
Yeah,
when,
you told that story.
When it was just when you're just crazy, a bunch of crazy kids. But now it's like we have a house, like we have a
it's much safer.
Yeah. I feel like it was like you were doing a lot of that crazy shit when like you again were like in high school and you didn't have like a place to go, like you couldn't go back to
you needed some stories too.
Yeah,
like you felt like I think back then you feel you need to have these stories to tell.
Well, and again, you can't just like have a guy sleep or come over when you're living at home.
You gotta do with what you got.
You gotta like that was a lot of cars
at your shows. I've loved some of the secrets because if people when people do come to your show,
live secrets.
We do live secrets, and as much live secrets is just as much fun as the secrets you're listening to here, and you get to see the people and but we've had some like the couple that got busted having sex in a Home Depot parking lot and some of those live secrets have been
a lot of the times it's it's tougher nowadays too just because there's cameras
everywhere. I can't imagine
back in our day you really didn't have to worry about that. That really weren't camera. It's like
someone's gonna come
Ring
in the bathroom and pull their
cameras.
camera out, like
Right, other
getting
people have
like
phones and cameras
yeah.
everywhere, and so it was just felt like less risky, whereas now,
If people
it's
see some too many feet under a bathroom stall,
right.
they're gonna get their
You're gonna
camera
get
out
a
and record
camera,
something.
right, or, like, even, like, in a Home Depot, like, now there's probably cameras every which way in that parking lot.
Oh, for sure.
So it is definitely a little bit more risky nowadays too, but that was always the thing, was trying to like find a spot. And of course it was more like in the car. Did you have any weird secrets?
One of
Any
my
weird
weirdest ones that I've told you, and I'm trying to think if there's any others. I'm old, so these are way long time ago. Um, uh, why can't I think of? I'm having a brain fart.
Are you in
A
another
storage
dimension?
unit.
A storage unit. Oh,
I
see
was being good.
that's
I was helping a girl move, and we put her couch in there and made use of the couch.
there you go, James. Well, and that too, like that's relatively safe because
Yeah.
Well,
there's a lot of other people in the storage units, like all over, but it
yeah,
was
that's
later
true.
at
That's
night,
true.
so
Yeah,
we
a
felt
little
like.
less. Yeah. But that is a great prompt. Anyone have any place that is like crazier than that? Like, or if you have any weird stories about hookups, doing it, whether it's like, I don't know, I was trying to think if there's like what else, if we've gotten some others before that were too crazy, but I don't know if we've anything that's wild, like in the ocean, in a hot tub.
I'm
But
thinking
like,
it's going to hit me after the show, some of the live shows that you've done,
yeah,
because
because that's always a classic.
there have been some great
That's
ones at
always a
the live
classic.
shows. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if you have any crazier stories, call us in at
SpeakPipe.
That's speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. Also, we loved how you yelled that out.
Yeah,
James got excited.
that was great. Great job. Proud of
That
you.
was cracking me up. But speakpipe.com/weird and proud pod. Always anonymous. If you have a weird sex story, if you have a weird food story, you have, I mean, really anything weird. Like, the topics are unlimited.
Exactly. Make up your own weird. What's
Yeah.
weird to you?
What is weird to you? That's great. What is your definition of weird?
What's your weird?
What's your weird? But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. Let us know your thoughts. Do you love like the idea of having these like weird deep dive topics? Are you guys feeling it? Any others you maybe want us to explore? Also, make sure that you are subscribed on wherever you're listening to this. If you're on Spotify, make sure you're subscribed. Apple Podcasts, make sure you're subscribed. YouTube, if you could, please subscribe. We would absolutely love and appreciate that. And make sure if you are on YouTube, give this video a thumbs up, comment below. And we love you guys so much. Hopefully we'll see you on the road soon. So stay tuned for some dates and ticket links coming at you. James, anything else you want to tell the people?
No, but thanks for playing, weirdos.
Thanks for playing with us. We like, again, we have so much fun doing this. We're so glad you guys
love having you. Exactly.
Love being a part
Look
of this
forward to
too.
this all the time.
We love you guys. Hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Love you, weirdos.